Danes expect to spend 4,600 DKK per household on Christmas this year. But in fact, there is a lot of money to save if one dares and knows how to do it. Therefore, we have invited Keld Jensen to BT, where he will provide us with some tools to lower the price. He is indeed an expert in negotiation techniques, and he is certain that it can be a really good idea to use the price.
Essentially, to put it a bit populistically, it is a tax-free saving one gets, or a tax-free earning. This means that when you get a better price on an item than a store, it is money, an earning that you have received, which you do not have to pay tax on. I talk to many Danes where I ask them, do you negotiate in your private life? I meet a lot of people who say, no, I don't. And then I like to ask them the question, why don't you do that? And they say, I don't do it because there is a suggested retail price on the price tag in the store. And then I say, well, exactly, it says suggested retail price. It does not say constitutionally guaranteed price. So no one has determined that this price must be the price. So of course the price is negotiable.
And we will go out and prove that. Therefore, we have gone to the Christmas market. But according to Keld Jensen, there are almost no limits to where you can use this about the price.
Now, I don't believe that you should waste either the store's or your own time by standing and negotiating the price on a somewhat ordinary cooling item at Netto. That's not what I'm suggesting. But if you need to make a larger purchase, for example, for Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve, you can easily go into a store like Bilka, make large purchases, and then negotiate on, for example, the price or something else. Okay.
Keld Jensen has found some skins that he would like to buy. But before he starts the actual negotiation, he chats a bit with the seller to create a good atmosphere.
What is that about? I always think it's a good idea to engage in small talk a bit. Show an interest in whether you want to buy. Also, show that you are serious. One should have a starting point, a goal, and a pain threshold. The starting point is essentially, what does the item cost? In other words, what is it marketed at? So, what is the suggested retail price? Your goal is what you want to pay for it. For example, if you say you want to buy an item that costs 1,000 kroner, your goal would be to pay 800 kroner for it, and then you need to have a pain threshold. That is to say, the negotiation space you have between your own target price and the starting point. So you could say, for example, that my pain threshold is 850 kroner. So if I can't get it for 860, then I won't buy it at all. These three things are very fundamental, and then you need to trust your gut, meaning if you can't achieve it, you have to decide that you won't pursue that item. I hear a lot of consumers starting off by saying, I have seen the item cheaper somewhere, or it's available online, and that's a negative way to start, which can actually provoke or confront the other party a bit. I would rather start by saying that I would really like to do my business with you here in this store. I like the store, I think the service is good, but we have a little challenge with the price. Can I get a better price or something more for my money? How can we work around this? What can you offer on a single item?
However, the seller cannot make that decision alone, so she must call her manager and emphasize that one of the first things to clarify is whether the seller has the authority to give you a discount.
If you enter a very large store, it is perhaps a bit more unusual for a regular sales assistant on the floor to have discretion. If you enter a smaller store, they are allowed to, but you can do that if you go into Elum or Magasengen or a very large store, and you don't just ask to speak with a department manager or someone who has the authority to give something more.
Keld Jensen ends up getting a quite good price difference, but he is up for more and visits a booth with jewelry.
Is it possible to perhaps get a better price than that?
But here it is much harder to come to a discount. The price is fixed.
You can't negotiate with those who don't want to negotiate. That means if a store says we can't do that, we won't, we mustn't, then you can't negotiate. It's not magic. Some product groups have a high profit for the store, while others have very little profit. The more difficult items, meaning those with lower margins, are typically very branded products. If I were to mention a very popular product, Apple products like Mac or iPad or iPhone have very, very limited margins for the stores. So if you get a savings of 3, 4, 5, 6% on such a product, you should be quite happy.
Since the price is not negotiable, Keld tries to get something extra decent. And that can often be the very best idea for both parties, as the store avoids lowering the price, but you still gain from the transaction.
In the third bid, Keld Jensen uses the last trick, left. Stores have to pay to accept cards. The card doesn't cost that much, but if you use, for example, a Visa card or MasterCard or the really expensive cards like Diners or American Express, then stores have to pay large percentage fees to the card issuers. And you can do that by going in and telling the store that you can choose to pay with a card. Or you can also choose to pay in cash. And then you can ask the store what they would prefer. And then you can say that if I want to pay in cash, I would like a discount on the price, meaning I don't want to pay with a credit card for part of the savings you achieve. Okay, do I get a benefit from paying in cash instead of a credit card? After, okay, how many months?
Through 3 negotiations, Keld Jensen manages to get a good discount on a skin, receive a small extra gift with his jewelry purchase, and avoid paying card fees. If you are willing to follow his example, you should consider the price in advance. Find the right person to negotiate with. Build a good relationship with the seller. Ask open-ended questions. Request something extra for free. Or offer to pay in cash. Merry Christmas and happy negotiating.